You know, sometimes it's not strangers who break you the most. It's your own family. Ever since I can remember, my sister Natalie was the golden child. She was beautiful in that effortless sun-kissed kind of way, with a laugh that made people want to be around her. The boys loved her. The neighbors adored her. And my parents, they practically worshipped the ground she walked on. Me? My name's Emily. I was always quieter, bookish, a little awkward. I had dreams of becoming an architect. I'd sit for hours sketching houses, imagining how I'd build homes that felt like a warm hug, the kind I rarely got. My parents thought it was cute at first. But when I started talking about applying to top universities, about scholarships, about internships in Boston, they just looked at me like I was delusional. My dad would chuckle under his breath. Dream big, kid. Just don't be disappointed when reality hits. Meanwhile, Natalie could come home with a C on her report card, and Mom would still shower her with love, telling her how proud she was. It was like I was living in the shadows of someone else's spotlight. I tried to be okay with it. I told myself not all families are the same, that maybe love just looked different here. But deep down, I ached for them to see me, to really see me. When I was about 15, I overheard my parents arguing one night. Mom was saying, "It's Emily's college fund. We can't touch it." And Dad replied, "She probably won't even go. Natalie might need that money for something more important." I remember gripping the edge of my pillow, heart racing, terrified. But after that night, I convinced myself I'd work twice as hard. I'd show them I was worth betting on. So I studied. I got into an amazing university in Boston. They'd been saving that fund since I was 10. It was finally time to use it. I thought, maybe they'd finally be proud. But I had no idea what was waiting for me. The month before my tuition was due, I sat at the kitchen table with acceptance letters, brochures, my sketches spread everywhere, grinning like an idiot. I was ready to plan everything. I just needed to access the college fund. So one evening after dinner I brought it up. "Mom? Dad? I got the final paperwork from Boston. I'll need the college account info so I can pay the deposit." I'll never forget the way they exchanged glances. My mother set down her glass of wine a little too slowly. My dad cleared his throat. Finally, Mom sighed. "Emily, honey, there's something we need to tell you." A cold wave hit me. "What do you mean?" My father didn't even look guilty. "We repurposed some of that money for Natalie." I just stared at them. "Repurposed? What does that mean?" Mom tried to smile like this was all perfectly reasonable. "Your sister needed a new car. Her old one was falling apart, and with her dating Tyler, well, it's important she keeps up appearances. It's an investment in her future." It felt like someone had punched me in the gut. I couldn't breathe. My entire college fund? For a car? For Natalie? Dad shrugged. "She's got real prospects. A future with someone like Tyler could set her up for life." I remember gripping the edge of the table so hard my knuckles turned white. Tears burned in my eyes. "I worked for this. I got into my dream school. You promised that money was for me." Mom just looked bored. "Sweetheart, you're smart. You'll figure something out. Maybe community college for a while or local classes. College isn't everything." Then she had the audacity to pat my hand, as if that would fix it. And my sister? She waltzed in later that night, twirling her keys, gushing about how Tyler loved the new ride. When I confronted her, she smirked. Don't be so dramatic. You're always making everything about you." I cried for days. Locked myself in my room surrounded by my sketches, my acceptance letters, feeling like they all mocked me. All those nights I stayed up studying, dreaming of Boston, imagining who I could become. It all felt like a cruel joke. But somewhere in that heartbreak, a small, cold determination took root. If they weren't going to invest in me, I'd find a way to invest in myself, no matter how long it took. So I did what I had to do. I deferred my admission, watched my dreams slip through my fingers for now. Then I picked myself up. I got 3 part-time jobs. Waiting tables at a diner, stocking shelves at a hardware store, and doing data entry for a tiny insurance firm. Most days I'd work 12, 14 hours, come home, collapse on my mattress, and wake up to do it all over again. My mom would shake her head whenever she saw me come home sweaty and exhausted. "Emily, you look terrible." "It's not that serious. Natalie would laugh behind her coffee mug. Maybe if you smiled more, people would help you out. I wanted to scream, but instead I tucked away every paycheck, saved every penny, applied for every tiny scholarship I could find, took night classes at the local community college to keep momentum. There were days I broke down in the bathroom, quietly sobbing into a towel so no one would hear. Nights I lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying Mom's voice saying, "It's not that big a deal." It was everything to me, but I learned to bottle it up. Let it fuel me. Slowly, painfully, things started to change. By 23, I had enough credits to transfer to a decent university. By 25, I finished my architecture degree the long, hard way. I networked like crazy, took on internships that paid peanuts, said yes to every freelance gig. Then, almost by accident, I landed a contract designing storefronts for a small chain in Toronto. They loved my ideas. From there, word spread. Bigger clients came. Investors took interest. By 30, I owned my own boutique design firm. By 32, I'd bought my first multi-million-dollar property. A sleek, glass mansion overlooking Lake Ontario. Meanwhile, my family's luck was running out. Natalie's fancy boyfriend dumped her after she racked up too much debt. My parents refinanced their house to bail her out, but it wasn't enough. Their perfect little world started crumbling. I didn't gloat. Not yet. I just watched. And waited. Because part of me was still that little girl, hoping maybe they'd see me. Maybe they'd be proud. But what happened next? That changed everything. It was a rainy Thursday when I saw her again. I was in my office, floor-to-ceiling windows, designer furniture, the kind of quiet that only comes with peace, when my receptionist buzzed. Emily. There's someone here asking for you, she says. She's your mother. I froze. I hadn't seen her in nearly 4 years. Not since the last time she called to tell me Natalie was really struggling and could use a little help. I had politely declined. I stepped into the lobby. She looked smaller than I remembered. Frizzed hair, clothes hanging off her like they didn't fit right anymore. And the moment her eyes met mine, she burst into tears. Emily, we didn't know where else to go. I didn't say a word. Just waited. She told me they'd lost the house. Natalie was unemployed. Dad had some sort of medical issue and they were living off credit cards. She asked if I could just help a little. I stared at her. This woman, who once sold my future for a car, who called me dramatic, who laughed while I worked myself to the bone. I didn't scream. I didn't gloat. I just said, I can offer you a job. She blinked. A job? Yes. I need someone to help with the house. Cleaning. Dishes. Errands. She looked horrified. You want me to be your maid? I smiled gently, not cruelly. No, Mom. I'm offering you a choice. Just like you once gave me one. That night she moved in. To the mansion she once said I'd never afford. Now she polishes the floors I designed. She arranges flowers in the vases I picked. She dusts the grand staircase while I sit upstairs sketching. We don't talk much. Natalie visits sometimes. She doesn't look me in the eyes. She walks through the marble hallways like they're haunted. And sometimes late at night I wonder, do they ever regret it? Do they remember the day they chose a car over my future? Because I do. But I also remember something else. The little girl they tried to break is the woman they now work for. And that's the kind of revenge that doesn't need screaming. Just needs success. Some revenge isn't about getting even. It's about rising so far above them they have no choice but to look up while sweeping your floor.